I am Socrates. The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. This understanding is the foundation of my life, my teaching, and my philosophy. In my years of engaging with the great minds of Athens, I have found that the more I learn, the more I realize how little I actually know. This is the beginning of wisdom and awareness of our own ignorance. It is in this recognition that we begin to seek true knowledge, to question, to examine, and to understand. I cannot teach anybody anything. I can only make them think. My role is not that of a traditional teacher, but rather that of a guide, the midwife of ideas. I do not impart knowledge, but I help others to give birth to their own understanding, to find yourself. Think for yourself. It is through this self-examination that we come to understand who we are, what we believe, and how we ought to live. An unexamined life is not worth living. This is perhaps the most famous of my teachings. It is not enough to simply exist, to go through the motions of life without reflection. We must constantly examine our actions, our beliefs, and our goals. We must question our assumptions and seek out the truth, even when it is uncomfortable or difficult. This is the path to a meaningful and fulfilling life. The more I know, the more I realize I know nothing. Each new piece of knowledge reveals the vastness of what remains unknown. This is not a cause for despair, but rather for humility. It reminds us that we are always learning, always growing, and always capable of being wrong. It is this humility that allows us to keep an open mind and to be receptive to new ideas and perspectives. Wonder is the beginning of wisdom. It is through wonder that we become curious, that we begin to question and explore the world around us. This sense of wonder is the spark that ignites the flame of knowledge. It is the driving force behind all inquiry, all learning, and all understanding. Without it, we remain stagnant, content with the superficial and the mundane. Be as you wish to seem. Our actions should reflect our values and our beliefs. We should strive to live with integrity, to be honest, just, and virtuous in all that we do. It is not enough to simply appear to be good. We must actually be good. This requires constant self-reflection and a commitment to living in accordance with our highest ideals. The greatest way to live with honor in this world is to be what we pretend to be. Many people put on a facade, pretending to be something they are not in order to gain the approval of others. But true honor comes from being authentic, from aligning our actions with our true selves. It is better to be disliked for who we are than to be admired for who we are not. I know that I am intelligent because I know that I know nothing. This paradox is at the heart of my philosophy. It is in acknowledging our ignorance that we become wise. True intelligence is not about having all the answers, but about asking the right questions. It is about being open to learning, to growing, and to changing our minds when presented with new evidence. Education is the kindling of a flame, not the filling of a vessel. Learning is not about memorizing facts or accumulating information. It is about igniting a passion for knowledge, a curiosity that drives us to explore, to question, and to understand. It is about developing the ability to think critically, to analyze, and to solve problems. This is the true purpose of education. He who is not contented with what he has would not be contented with what he would like to have. Contentment is not found in acquiring more, but in appreciating what we already have. It is in finding joy in the present moment, in the simple pleasures of life. It is not about having everything we want, but about wanting what we have. This is the key to happiness. Death may be the greatest of all human blessings. It is the end of our earthly journey, a transition to another realm of existence. It is not something to be feared, but something to be embraced. It is the natural conclusion to the cycle of life, a release from the struggles and sufferings of this world. In death we find peace, and in accepting death we find the courage to live fully. Employ your time in improving yourself by other men's writing, so that you shall come easily by what others have labored hard for. We can learn much from the wisdom of others, from the great thinkers and writers who have come before us. Their insights, their experiences, and their teachings can guide us on our own path to knowledge and understanding. We do not have to start from scratch. We can build on the foundations laid by others. The secret of happiness, you see, is not found in seeking more, but in developing the capacity to enjoy less. True happiness is not about accumulating wealth, possessions, or status. It is about finding contentment and simplicity in the things that really matter: relationships, experiences, and personal growth. It is about cultivating a sense of gratitude and appreciation for the small things in life. True wisdom comes to each of us when we realize how little we understand about life, ourselves, and the world around us. This realization is the starting point of all philosophical inquiry. It is what drives us to question, to explore, and to seek out the truth. It is in this pursuit of understanding that we find meaning and purpose in our lives. The easiest and noblest way is not to be crushing others, but to be improving yourselves. Our focus should not be on competing with others, but on bettering ourselves. We should strive to be the best version of ourselves, to develop our talents, our virtues, and our character. This is the path to true greatness. Understanding a question is half an answer. Many people rush to find answers without fully understanding the question. But true understanding requires us to take the time to think deeply, to consider all the angles, and to grasp the underlying principles. It is only then that we can arrive at a meaningful and accurate answer. Wisdom begins in wonder. It is through wonder that we begin to question, to explore, and to seek out knowledge. This sense of wonder is the driving force behind all learning, all inquiry, and all understanding. It is what inspires us to look beyond the surface and to search for deeper meaning and truth. We cannot live better than in seeking to become better. The pursuit of self-improvement is the key to a fulfilling and meaningful life. It is through this pursuit that we grow, that we learn, and that we become the best version of ourselves. This is the true purpose of life. Beware the barrenness of a busy life. Many people fill their lives with activity, with work, with distractions, but they fail to find meaning or fulfillment. It is not enough to be busy. We must be purposeful. We must take the time to reflect, to think, and to connect with what truly matters. The beginning of wisdom is a definition of terms. Many arguments and misunderstandings arise because people are not clear on what they mean by their words. It is important to define our terms, to be precise in our language, and to ensure that we are all on the same page. This is the foundation of clear thinking and effective communication. He is richest who is content with the least, for content is the wealth of nature. True wealth is not measured by material possessions, but by our ability to find contentment and satisfaction in life. It is about being grateful for what we have, for the simple pleasures of life, and for the beauty of the natural world. The only good is knowledge, and the only evil is ignorance. Knowledge is the key to living a good and virtuous life. It is through knowledge that we can make informed decisions, that we can understand the consequences of our actions, and that we can choose the path of wisdom. Ignorance, on the other hand, leads to mistakes, to misunderstandings, and to harm. To know is to know that you know nothing. That is the meaning of true knowledge. It is in acknowledging our ignorance that we open ourselves up to learning, to growth, and to understanding. True knowledge is not about having all the answers, but about being open to new ideas, new perspectives, and new possibilities. The way to gain a good reputation is to endeavor to be what you desire to appear. It is not enough to simply create an image or a facade. We must actually live up to our ideals. We must be honest, just, and virtuous in all that we do. This is the true path to honor and respect. Not life, but good life is to be chiefly valued. It is not enough to simply exist. We must strive to live a life of meaning, purpose, and virtue. We must seek out the good, the true, and the beautiful, and we must live in accordance with our highest ideals. This is the true purpose of life. I am not an Athenian or a Greek, but a citizen of the world. My allegiance is not to a particular city or country, but to humanity as a whole. I believe in the unity of all people, in the common bond that we share as human beings. We are all citizens of the world, and we must work together for the common good. There is only one good, knowledge, and one evil, ignorance. Knowledge is the key to living a good and virtuous life. It is through knowledge that we can make informed decisions, that we can understand the consequences of our actions, and that we can choose the path of wisdom. Ignorance, on the other hand, leads to mistakes, to misunderstandings, and to harm. False words are not only evil in themselves, but they infect the soul with evil. Lies and deception corrupt the soul, leading us away from the path of truth and virtue. They damage trust, destroy relationships, and create an environment where evil can thrive. Speaking the truth, even when it is difficult, is essential to maintaining the integrity of our character and the purity of our soul. I am Socrates, and I continue to urge you to live a life of truth, knowledge, and virtue. The hour of departure has arrived, and we go our ways, I to die, and you to live, which is better. God only knows. Death is not something to be feared, for it is simply a transition to another state of being. Whether it is an end or a new beginning, it is part of the natural order of life. We must accept it with grace and dignity, just as we accept life itself. Be slow to fall into friendship, but when thou art in, continue firm and constant. Friendship is a precious bond, a relationship built on trust, mutual respect, and shared values. It should not be entered into lightly, but once established, it should be nurtured and maintained with unwavering loyalty and commitment. A true friend is a companion for life, a source of support, and a reflection of our own character. Think not those faithful who praise all thy words and actions, but those who kindly reprove thy faults. True friends are not those who flatter us or agree with everything we say, but those who care enough to point out our mistakes and guide us back to the right path. Constructive criticism, given with kindness and love, is a gift that helps us grow and improve. It is a sign of true friendship. The greatest blessing granted to mankind is judgment and reflection. It is through our ability to reason, to reflect, and to judge that we navigate the complexities of life. This capacity for critical thinking allows us to discern right from wrong, to make wise decisions, and to pursue a life of virtue. It is a blessing that we must cultivate and use wisely. When the debate is over, slander becomes the tool of the loser. In the heat of argument, when reason fails, some resort to personal attacks and slander. But this is a sign of weakness, not strength. True strength lies in maintaining our integrity, in arguing with logic and respect, and in accepting defeat with grace when we are proven wrong. Slander only diminishes the one who uses it. I am Socrates, and I believe in the power of reason, dialogue, and the pursuit of truth. The beginning of wisdom is the definition of terms. Many conflicts and misunderstandings arise because people are not clear on what they mean by their words. It is important to define our terms, to be precise in our language, and to ensure that we are all on the same page. This is the foundation of clear thinking and effective communication. Wealth does not bring goodness, but goodness brings wealth and every other blessing, both to the individual and to the state. True wealth is not measured in material possessions, but in the goodness of our character. A virtuous life brings blessings far greater than money or status. It brings peace, contentment, and the respect of others. It is through living a good life that we achieve true prosperity. I am Socrates, and I urge you to seek wealth not in gold, but in the goodness of your soul. Bad men live that they may eat and drink, whereas good men eat and drink that they may live. The purpose of life is not to indulge in pleasures, but to live with purpose and meaning. We should nourish our bodies so that we can pursue higher goals, such as knowledge, virtue, and the betterment of society. It is in living for these higher purposes that we find true fulfillment. He is a man of courage who does not run away, but remains at his post and fights against the enemy. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the strength to face it head-on. It is standing firm in the face of adversity, holding true to our principles, and fighting for what is right, even when it is difficult. This is the essence of true bravery. Regard your good name as the richest jewel you can possibly be possessed of, for credit is like fire. When once you have kindled it, you may easily preserve it. But if you once extinguish it, you will find it an arduous task to rekindle it again. A good reputation is invaluable, and once lost, it is difficult to regain. We must guard our integrity jealously, for it is the foundation of trust, respect, and honor. It is the most precious asset we possess. I am Socrates, and I remind you that a good name, once tarnished, is hard to restore. Virtue does not come from wealth, but wealth and every other good thing which men have comes from virtue. It is through living a virtuous life that we attract good things into our lives. Wealth, success, and happiness are not ends in themselves, but the byproducts of a life lived with integrity, wisdom, and kindness. Focus on cultivating virtue, and all other blessings will follow. The hour of departure has arrived, and we go our ways to die, and you to live. Which is better, only God knows. As I face my own death, I do so with a calm and peaceful heart. I do not fear the unknown, for I have lived my life according to my principles. Death is simply a part of the natural order, and I embrace it as the final chapter of my earthly journey. Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle. We all face challenges, struggles, and hardships in life, many of which are hidden from view. It is important to treat others with kindness, compassion, and understanding, for we do not know the battles they are fighting. A kind word, a helping hand, or a compassionate ear can make all the difference. I am Socrates, and I believe that kindness is the key to a better world. Beware of the barrenness of a busy life. In our modern world, it is easy to fill our days with activity, to be constantly on the go, and to measure our worth by our productivity. But busyness is not the same as purpose. We must take the time to reflect, to rest, and to connect with what truly matters: our relationships, our values, and our inner selves. The only good is knowledge, and the only evil is ignorance. Knowledge is the key to living a good and virtuous life. It is through knowledge that we can make informed decisions, that we can understand the consequences of our actions, and that we can choose the path of wisdom. Ignorance, on the other hand, leads to mistakes, to misunderstandings, and to harm. I am Socrates, and I encourage you to seek knowledge, for it is the path to goodness. False words are not only evil in themselves, but they infect the soul with evil. Lies and deception corrupt the soul, leading us away from the path of truth and virtue. They damage trust, destroy relationships, and create an environment where evil can thrive. Speaking the truth, even when it is difficult, is essential to maintaining the integrity of our character and the purity of our soul. I am Socrates, and I continue to urge you to live a life of truth, knowledge, and virtue.